This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Obviously, we know a lot about our opponent, and on the other side, they know a lot about us. I've got a lot of respect for Spencer and the roster that he has built. They've got great players. They've got great coaches, and I think we've got the top two teams playing each other in our conference for the championship, and then obviously whoever wins the game will be in the college football playoffs, and how exciting that is to be able to be in now the month of December and have that as a real opportunity and goal. We had a really good day today in our preparation to start it off. You can look at a number of different ways when you play an opponent for the second time in the season, what that looks like, a chess match on how structurally different or the same are they going to look, and what are we doing the same and different. There'll be a lot of in-game adjustments that are made, and that's every week, but especially when you play an opponent, in my opinion, for the second time in a few short weeks. So our guys are excited. We're as healthy as we've been all season. Everybody that played in the game the other night in the big win, they're available. So no new additions to the injury report, which is great for us. It'll be a fast week of preparation. You play on Saturday, get done late, Friday night game, you travel on Thursday, but our team is, in that context, I think, really battle-tested. We understand what it looks like on a short week. This will be Friday night game number 6 for us on the season, so we've got that routine down pretty well. And I think that's another sign of our maturity on our team, and they understand the opportunity that's there that they've created. They understand what we have to do from now until the time the ball is kicked off, and then then it gets down to, can we go execute? Can we play well in all three phases? Can we play complementary football? Can we take care of the ball? Can we win in the special teams in the hidden yardage area? Can we be really good on third down offense and defense? And then how we've been able to manage and play winning football, we got to put it on full display for 4 quarters, because it'll take a tremendous effort. And thrilled for our team to be in the position they are. I think we're one of 18 teams still practicing for the championship games in their respective leagues. We're probably really one of, depends on who you talk to or listen to, one of 18 or so teams, 17 teams maybe, that are still alive for the playoffs. And, that's, in my opinion, that's where this program should be. So thankful for assistant coaches, the players, all the people that pour into our program. Again, I'll say it's been a fun team to coach, and I just want it to keep going. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I spoke about it the other night, about how you guys are different. How do you perceive yourself different from the last time you played them?
I think we're playing better football. I think we've moved in the right direction every single week since that game. You get down late in the year, and there are teams, for whatever reason, they trend one way or the other. You normally don't stay the same. And I think we're trending in the right direction. We're playing better. We're able to run the ball a little bit better, more effectively. Now, they're really good. It'll be a great challenge on continuing to be able to run the ball. But, I think we're doing some better things schematically on defense. We're playing with more confidence. We're playing faster than we were at that point. And I think it becomes, in the moment now, we are playing our best ball, and we know how important that'll be. And that comes with experience, reps, being in position to really know who you are as a team, and then being able to make adjustments as needed within the game plan to try to create opportunities for our players in space or defensively and coverage, all the different things that go into that. So I'm pretty sure that's, some of the things that Hodge was probably alluding to.
Coach, you mentioned complimentary football. First half of the game last weekend might have been as good as that's been all year long, 24/7 going into the halftime break. Was that about as satisfied with the first half as you and your coaching staff had been?
Yeah, we really wanted, if we got the ball first, we needed to go score. And the first play of the game, obviously, they did a great job in blocking perimeter run support. They did a really nice job on kicking the guy out and then working to the second and the third level. Jacob did a tremendous job reading one cut, got vertical, and that started us. You know, that was a really good start to the game. And then to finish it off with a touchdown, that was the way we wanted to start the game, find a way to come away with points. And then defensively, other than the one play in, you know, the coverage when they got behind us, it was a really solid game in the first half. So I would agree to that. It was, you know, we started the right way. It was good to see the way that we executed from the jump. After going through senior day, after, you know, some of the things that go into that, was worried emotionally about that a little bit with our guys, but they handled it well and started the game really well.
Coach, you mentioned 17 teams or 18 teams. With all the scenarios being thrown around, how confident are you that with the win on Friday, your team ends up in the top?
We're in. I mean, very confident. So you look at all the different measurable things that go into it. There's the champion of our league will be in the game.
Coach Ashton Genty rolled up 226 against Oregon State, but with your guys, the confidence your defensive line is playing with right now, what are you seeing from those guys?
He's a tremendous player. I think he's the best player in college football. I said it when we played him first. The first time we played him, the amount of carries he has, the way their offensive line blocks in a great way. He continues to, whether there is space or not, inside or outside, he creates plays every single week, and he's so consistent with it. And he runs so hard. He runs behind his pads. He can outrun you. He finishes going forward, all the great traits you want to see in a running back, unless you're trying to tackle him. So it's going to take all 11 guys on fits, on support, on populating the ball. We need to try to eliminate as many one-on-one tackles as we can in that situation. And, schematically, you got to be right every snap. And if not, it could result in a touchdown. We understand that. So we got to have a great plan. Our guys are an understanding on the opportunity and the challenges that present themselves with how they play offensively. And, that'll be certainly a huge key to the game.
You guys were battle tested on the road at San Jose State with that weather. It's going to be cold on Friday. Can you say how your team is built for this opportunity?
Yeah, it'll be perfect weather for UNLV Rebels. That's the way you got to approach it. If you look at it any differently, then you're letting something that you have no control over mess with your emotions, and you can't do that. And great competitors, they don't care. We can go out and play in the parking lot, and it doesn't matter. You've got to, as long as you prepare the right way, then the elements, it's distraction control. It should mean nothing. Our plane will probably be late. We'll get a flat tire on the bus, all those things. You don't control them. So don't spend wasted energy on messing with those things. There's either problems or there's solutions. I like solutions. So I think it's a high of 42 that day, a low of 30. That'll be perfect for us.
What do you do to control their quarterback up the middle?
Yeah, it's tough. He is so savvy. He's playing really well. He made some big-time throws the other night against Oregon State, or the other day, whenever they played like at 9 a.m., whatever that was, Friday. Made some big-time throws, extended drives with his legs. We saw that the first time we played him. We got to do a great job. There's times you say, we got a spy guy for him. Well, if you can't tackle him in space, it doesn't do any good. So you got to be great in your rush lanes. You can't get too far past the ball and what that looks like. You got to have an opportunity when you get a chance to keep him in the pocket. You got to keep him in the pocket. But then on the back end, you better be able to match it up because he can throw the ball so well. He is an X factor and makes plays. So we understand that. If it's 3rd and 6, he finds a way to get in there and get 7. And he runs well, and obviously he's playing really smart football.
Their tight end got free a few times. Is McDuffie the fix on that one because he wasn't available?
I think you look at the way the tight ends have played for them throughout the year. They're a main weapon for them they do create some mismatches in their size and the way that they run. We've got to be aware of that, and Dirk does such a great job in, the tight end delay, the chip and get out late, finding zone areas to settle. So I think those are areas that obviously affected us in a negative way the first time we had a chance to play them. So you got to show them that you can fix problems, and that'll be huge early to see that we've been able to do that.
When it comes to scouting and watching film heading into this matchup, do you find yourself watching more of Boise State's recent games or your matchup against them? How's that balanced?
A little bit of both. You've got the body of work until we played them, then you have our game, and then you've got what they've done since then. So then you look at all of it together, and then you break it down as you do to watch what you need to from a game plan standpoint. So, they've got everything that we have on them, they have on us. So, it's about how to find any mismatch you can or put your best players in position to have opportunities, and then you build it around there. So I don't know if there's a right answer to your question. We're looking at it all. I don't know where I've spent most of my time in that regard from the time our game was over the other night until right now. I would say it's a combination of, okay, this is how they attacked us. This is what they do really well. This is what we think we're going to see, and then adjust from there.
Notice any significant changes on film from the matchup in October until now?
Not really, no. I mean, they're really good at what they do. They've got a DNA of the way they play ball. I think, like we are, I think they're playing their best ball right now too. So it'll be a great matchup, and it'll be great for you. Look at the world of college football right now, and I believe there's more excitement in the postseason or in the later part of the season than there's ever been before. And, it's unique, it's new with expanded playoffs, but I think it's created more opportunities, obviously. And then, the fans of those teams that are still in the mix, I think it's great for the sport.
Has your mindset changed over time about what's important to have in a program, whether it's relationship with players, ability to win, family happiness? Like, what's important to you? What's important to you to have in a program to make it successful?
I think support. The players make everything go. So the relationships with them will never change. As soon as that part changes, I won't coach anymore. It's a relationship-driven business, and that'll never change for me. The opportunity to provide the team with the assistant coaches you need to run the program the way you want to run it. Opportunities for guys to continue to do everything structurally. You need to have a chance to play championship football. And there's so many different levels that go into it. But I also believe you create those things. And, that's certainly what we've been able to do here.
Along those lines, as your elevator program and your back-to-back title games, how does that, whether it's recruiting or TV placement or what have you, or scheduling, how does that success sort of beget more success with the program? How do you take advantage of that so that it keeps paying off?
Yeah, I think it's really, really contagious. You look at it, and the thing that we have said from the day we've got here, anything that you want to accomplish as a college football student athlete, we're going to get done here. And that's graduate with a meaningful degree, networking in one of the elite cities in all of the world, the opportunity to play championship level football. Now we're going to be able to add to, you can be an All-American here, you're going to get drafted from here, and you got an opportunity to play meaningful games to get into the playoffs. And then if we can create one more, then we can add another little notch to the belt on things that we've accomplished and what we can do and what you can get done in this program.
Coach, Hodge was sacked 6 times in your last meeting against Boise State. Your offensive line, how have those guys gotten better in the month of November?
Yeah, I think they're playing with more confidence. I think, the experience has helped. there are a couple of those. It's easy when there's a sack given up to say, oh, the offensive line didn't play well. I'm not saying you said that. It's just the narrative. That may not be the case every time. Did the quarterback hold it too long? Did the back miss the block? Did we odd fan it and we should have been in slide protection? There's so many things that go into it. I think, number one, you look at Boise is really good up front. They're active. They've got a great scheme. They've got really good players. Number two, there were some things within those 6 sacks I think we can get cleaned up. I think we have. That will be a big part of the game, and the opportunity for us to have success is to be able to protect the quarterback. So are you moving the pocket? Is it 5-step? What goes into that? We've got to have answers, and then we also understand they may win a play or two in a matchup, and we've got to be strong enough with mental toughness and resolve to bounce back and find a way to overcome it.
Along those lines, I remember after the Hawaii game, you said that was a big opportunity for Hodge to learn and grow in his position. How have you seen that process continue?
Yeah, I think he's, there are pitchers early on in that game that were unique that maybe he was trying to move a little too quickly in either getting off the read or staying on the read. I think some of the pitchers pre-snap wise, they gave him an opportunity as the game went on to get into the flow of it on really, okay, this is what I'm seeing, but this is really what I'm getting. And I think that experience has helped him become who he is today. And he's always very, very hungry to fix problems, and something that he didn't do well to try to find a way to make it right. And he's practicing really well. Things have slowed down for him, and he's playing really good ball.
Back-to-back 100-yard rush games for Jet Thomas. Obviously, the offensive line will get a lot of the credit. He'd be the first to give them that credit. But in the 2 years that he's been in the program, where have you seen Jet take the biggest areas of development, that big leap?
Yeah, I think vision, number one, explosiveness because of the work he puts in the weight room, and then his ability to finish runs and finishing moving forward, getting the tough yard. He's done a great job. And, he's just getting started, in my opinion, on who he's really going to be. He's certainly, the last half of the season is playing really well. And when he has, success and you can break off a 7-yard and he makes a guy miss or breaks a tackle and turns that into a 25-yard gain, then we become an explosive offense really quick.
29 seniors walked on Saturday. Can you talk about the underclassmen like Jet, like Charles, like Aiden, the future of this program?
Yeah, I think, number one, we've got a lot of really good young players in the program that have gotten great experience because they're playing. They've also had a number of older guys in front of them or in the same position group that they've had a great example on what it's supposed to look like. Charles Correa, for example, when he is not in pre-practice walkthrough or all the different walks that we have, pre-practice walks, post-practice, whatever it is, when his group is not in, he stands 20 yards behind and he mirrors every step that he's supposed to do. So he's getting, when he's not in there, he's getting the reps anyway. And that creates, when his number is called, he's ready to go play. But then number two, he is training the right way. He's seen the picture on what it's supposed to look like, and it's going to advance and speed up the way that he is able to make plays when his number is called and he's out there as the starter.
Any more? Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. Have a great week.
Genty last time had over 100, but it took him over 30 carries. Only 16-yard was his long run. Like, what do you think you did against him, and what do you have to do now? The second time around.
Yeah, he's first off a really good player, and we're going to have to be our best to stop him again. A lot of it was just containing him, doing our job, being in the right spot, everybody up front being gap sound, and then the safeties coming in and filling and making a tackle, wrapping up and getting them on the ground.
Jackson, can you talk about how good the defensive line is playing right now? Fisher, K-Mac, all those guys, 6 sacks on Saturday.
Yeah, they're playing really confident. They know their role, they know their job, and they're playing at a high level. That's what we need to be successful, and they're doing it at the right time. I think throughout the season there's inconsistencies throughout all the defense, and the D-line has really stepped up in a big-time way. They're just going to continue to get better as their confidence, continues to rise. I'm proud of all of them, but, yeah, they're doing a really good job.
Ricky, Coach had said that that first half against UNR last weekend was about as good as it's been all year, especially after that first drive. Did you guys share that sentiment in the locker room?
We did. We know we wanted to come out, start fast, punch them in the mouth, set the tone early. And that's what we did. And, we wanted to finish with that. But that also, now I feel like we did a great job of just executing, everybody doing that 111.
One thing we've seen kind of develop throughout the year is the songs and the atmosphere going into the fourth quarter. I think that was about as exciting an atmosphere as we've seen all year here at home. What was that like? As you seen the difference between the one sideline and the other, it was pretty striking.
Man, it was a special moment. Just see all those, everybody put their phones out, light the stadium up, man. It was a great feeling. The atmosphere was amazing. I think each and every person that came out that was supporting us, and I hope to see them next week.
You guys are undefeated on the road this year for both of you. What do you think has gone into that, and how can that apply going up to this game, which is obviously the biggest one you played?
Really, I would definitely say our habits and just the way we prepare throughout the week, knowing that we're going into a away game, a different environment that's not going to be at home, so we're going to have everybody against us. And I feel like we did done a good job of just really taking that on as a team. We feed off that energy. We just want to go out there and just, compete every day.
Yeah, he answered it. It's habits. Habits don't change no matter if we're home or away, and that's what brings the success on the road. And then I think, Ricky said it also, when everyone's against us, that's when we're our closest. We rally together. We bring our own energy. We love when everybody's against us.
What do you think's the most different about you guys now than the first time you played them?
I mean, defensively is just our confidence. We're playing very confident football. We know exactly what we're doing. We know the game plan, and everyone's just playing at their highest level, and it's at the perfect time. So, not too much different when it comes to personnel or scheme, but everyone's playing really confident.
Jackson, how did it feel to find the end zone? Walk us through that play.
Yeah, I didn't do much. Jarvis Ware blitzed with incredible speed, smoked the quarterback. Ball came out, and I just had to run and go jump on it. But that was everyone doing their job, the D lineman getting pressure, and then Jarvis making a big-time play.
Jackson, Jarvis, Cameron, all the guys, the corners, they did a really good job in San Jose State against Nick Nash. What are you seeing from the corners right now?
Yeah, I keep saying it, but confidence. They're playing really confident. They're really good players. I think they can be the best at their position in all of college football if they just believe in themselves, and that's what they've been doing, and they've shown that lately. I got all the confidence in the world in them, so they're playing at a high level.
You talk about the willingness to rotate. Like, you don't rotate in and out, but most of the players do. And one guy, as an example, is Cam Oliver, who's, I think, the top corner. He might be the top defensive player by PFF on the team, and his role has changed. Like, we don't see him much in the first quarter, and then he's closing out the game. But that team thing where everyone's willing to not play the full game. Yeah, first off, I have so much respect for Cam. He comes to work. He's a team player. He does what he needs to do to help us win. I have a lot of respect for him, and all the team does as well. But that just, it shows you the depth that we have. We have so many good players, and we use everybody in different roles, different ways.
and we're just whatever it takes to win, we're going to go do it. So if that means someone has to come out for a play and somebody else goes in, they believe that whoever's going in is going in to help us win. And I think that just goes to credit to the coaches, too, to knowing our personnel and putting together a great game plan.
What ways you run with the tight ends to get them free in some key cases?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good offense, and they disguise stuff well. They have a lot of play-action stuff. So if your eyes are not in the right spot, they're going to expose you. They do a really good job at it. They're well coached. They're very disciplined, and we got to play our best game, be very disciplined, have our eyes in the right spot to limit those plays.
For both of you, you guys are both captains, show a lot of leadership in this program. What are you doing this week to make sure your guys are ready mentally?
I would definitely say, not even just for the offensive side, but the whole team, really just doing that extra thing. You know, whether it comes with stretching, watching more film, eating right, really just going back to even your coordinator or your position coach and just getting that one little extra tip that might help us, you know, reach that next level. So I'm definitely doing that throughout the whole week.
Yeah, I mean, I just have been telling the guys championship habits. It's the same thing we've said since January of last year, championship habits. It's the little things that make teams great, and this is the week where that's exposed the most. So we got to be perfect in our habits, perfect in our film study, perfect on the field. We got to be our best, and like Ricky said, just do more.
For both of you guys played in the Mountain West Championship game last year against this team. If you can remember just what it felt like, you know, not being able to win that game, and now how does that sort of how does it feel going into it, getting a sort of second chance against the same team now?
I would definitely say it was disappointing because, you know, you put in all that work throughout the whole year, you know, to get to your final destination and not, you know, that you come up short. But I definitely say we got a chip on our shoulder. We're motivated. We're ready to go. Well put together team, man. We just want to go out there and just compete. Like I said, man, we got the guys to do it. Right personnel, right coaches, the leaders, man, everything. So we're gonna make it happen.
How much do the previous 5 Friday games kind of set you guys up for success with the schedule this week? Yeah,
I mean, we're used to it at this point. You know, it's been our season, half of our season. The coaches do an incredible job at game planning. It's obviously a short week, but we don't look at it like that. We look at it as an advantage. You know, whenever it's short week for everybody. I know Boise obviously played on Friday, but we get to take advantage of having a short week by doing extra studying. And yeah, we're used to it. They got a great plan for us. Get our bodies right, and we're going to be ready just like we were every Friday.
Jackson, Coach was a little emotional on Saturday post-game. Talk about the trust you have in him this week to win the Mountain West Championship.
Yeah, I believe in him every game. It doesn't matter what game it is, what level it is, what stage it is. He's got my full support. I believe in him in any situation. You know, I trust him with really everything I have. You know, I said it after the game. Him believing in me really made me believe in myself, and that means a lot to me. So he's an incredible coach. He's going to do everything, you know, he can to help us win. He's going to give us a game plan, and then it's just up to us players to go do it.
You guys have a chance to make history, not just for UNLV, but also for Las Vegas. You know, what does it mean to represent this school as you chase not only the program's first ever Mountain West football title, but also a college football playoff bid?
It's a blessing to be able to, you know, be in this position. You know, I feel like as a team, we're at our highest peak of being motivated right now, and just breaking the records we've broken, and just, you know, the things that we're able to accomplish as a team. So I feel like right now we're going in the right direction. You know, we're going to continue to build, continue to focus, lock in, just become a closer team. Therefore, you know, we can make our dreams come true.
Yeah, it means everything to represent this city. You know, Las Vegas has showed up big time, especially for the home games. You know, they've poured into me. I feel like, you know, this is my second home now. So I'm going to go and give every, you know, last whatever ounce of energy I got for this city. And we hope that we make them proud.
To go from, you know, the second biggest crowd in Allegiant Stadium for UNLV to go up to Boise where it's going to be, you know, a full stadium and all against you, just your thoughts on going up there into that hostile environment.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Bring it.
Anything else?
Yeah, one more. This is silly, but Ashton Genty was out before the last game with his shirt off. It's like 30 degrees. You guys are from Arkansas and Georgia. I don't know if you would do that in warm-ups, but is there someone on the team you could, like, is crazy enough and fired up enough to be out there warming up with a shirt on when it's 33 degrees?
No, we talk about habits all the time. Why change it when it's cold? You know, I mean,
keep our routines.
Yeah, I don't really believe in that too much. You know, I'm going to do the same thing that I do every game. If you think it's cold, then I think you take your shirt off and you know, make it seem like it's cold. But you know.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Short guy in the middle.
What if somebody like stop one of their phones? They'd be mad, huh? That's funny.
Coach Odom just spoke about how much you've grown Hodge and how hungry you are to solve problems. I'm just curious what that's actually looked like for you in practice and how you feel you've developed since coming to UNLV.
It's been one of my hardest years of my life of playing the game of football. Just how things transpired at the beginning. You know, you work so hard for a goal and you feel like you come up short. It's gut wrenching, you know. But then you ask yourself, who you want to become, and then you know, guys to my right, you know, they help pick me up through those days. So throughout practice, you know, I'm my biggest critic, and then when the result isn't what you want it to be, everyone sees it. But I'm the same way even in the after a win. You know, you see I missed this throw, I went to 12 inches this way, the accuracy deal, was my footwork correct? I'm so hard on myself. So that's kind of where it stems from, just being that competitor. But then it was different doing it in the dynamic of life. You know what I mean? I never had that type of challenge before. So just the beauty of football, it helps you grow in all aspects of it, you know, just as a whole man. And to thrive at this level, that's what you got to continue to do is grow. So.
Jalen, on the defensive side of the ball, Coach had said throughout this end of the season, but reiterated it today, that he feels like you guys are playing your best ball on that side heading into this matchup. In what ways do you feel like you guys have improved as a defense throughout the year?
I think really it's just been us trusting each other, you know, us doing our jobs. I think we weren't being selfish at all. I think we started realizing that we just stay in our gaps, if we just do our assignments, if we just feel our responsibilities correctly, you know, the play will come to us and we're all going to get ours, you know. So I think and also I love that everybody loves when people make plays. You know, we're all excited for each other and we all want to see each other succeed. So when you have a defense like that and people that have that same energy, you know, the sky's the limit.
Have you ever played in a defensive backfield specifically that's been this flexible, this much adjusting throughout the year as far as the positions go?
You know, I can't lie and say I haven't. I mean, there's been some good defensive backrooms I played in at Arkansas and Texas, but I'm where my feet are, and right now I feel like we're the best defensive back group in the country, you know, and I believe that with all my heart, you know. So, and I believe that we'll continue to show that. But like I said, it's a tough matchup this week against Boise State. They're a great team, well coached, skill all the way around. So we just got to go out there and do our assignments and just trust what the coach has plans for us and Coach Shear and with Coach Fertitta, and then just go out there and execute.
Hodge, you were sacked 6 times last time against Boise State. How have things slowed down for you? How are you attacking Boise State this week?
They do a great job of sacking the quarterback. They're top in the country, one of the top teams in the country. But I know we've grown so much as an O-line as far as protection and me getting the ball out of my hands and not just patting the ball. As far as progressions go, I'm more comfortable with my reads, protections. A lot of times on those sacks, it was really my fault. Our guys doing a great job of executing, and each week we're getting much, much better. We're cohesively growing as a group, and that's all you can ask for in times like this, to go upward in trajectory as far as the later half of the season.
Yeah, Jack, one of the reasons this Boise State defense has been able to get into the backfield, Ahmed Hassanin, how much of your guys' game plan as a unit goes into stopping him?
Yeah, he's a great player. Their defense in general, but especially the D-line, is a strong point for him. As far as structuring our game plan around one player, at the end of the day, what we do doesn't necessarily revolve around one player in particular. All respect to him and the whole defense in general, but we're more concerned at this point in the season of what we can do and how to go do it.
What have you noticed watching on film from Boise State from the last time you played them in October until now? Have you seen any big kind of changes or adjustments?
Schematically, especially, no. I think anytime you get a rematch with a team, it'd be a little bit silly to say they're not going to make adjustments. Obviously, being on the offensive side, those adjustments are going to have to come with what we do as well. They're the same team. I know they're a little banged up in certain spots. So it's just one of those things. You got to attack and assert the run is a big part of our game.
Jack, you think back to last year's Mountain West Championship game. What do you remember about how you felt, coming up short in that game, and your thoughts on getting a shot at a rematch here?
Yeah, it was tough because there was definitely conflicting emotions as far as, I was just so proud of the Vegas community showing support because, in my opinion, that was the first game that, we opened up the second level. A ton of people showed up. So it was awesome to get that support. The downside, we obviously didn't win that game. So that's the big thing that stuck with me, and, everybody that was on the team from last year was just, that feeling of being home in the championship game and coming up short. So it's, really similar this year, too. They're one of our 2 losses, and we have a chance to go right or wrong, so that's a big deal for us.
Jack, what did you see up front from Boise State at the last meeting and the confidence your guys are playing with right now?
Yeah, like I said earlier, they're a tough group. Definitely one of the better groups in the Mountain West. That being said, I think our O-line as a whole is firing on all cylinders, and offense in general, with how many backs are getting touches. Hodge is running the ball great. We're spreading the ball out with our receivers. So, I think it's just that part of the season where everybody's so comfortable and confident in what we can do.
Hodge, what kind of crowd are you expecting up at Boise State? Obviously, it's going to be sold out and loud. And what does that do to an offense? What are you going to have to do maybe to handle some of the noise and that kind of stuff from that a crowd can bring?
I don't know what to expect as far as the crowd at Boise. I've never been there. I don't even know where it is on the map. But what I do know is communication is always a key to victory. If me and Jack aren't on the same page, we're going to have things that don't go right. So that's been vital, whether it's week 1 to week 12, 13. That's the key to victory. So as long as we're all on the same page, I know we can execute at a high level.
Speaking of fans at Boise, your mom has been to every game this season. Can you see her in the crowd? What do you feel out there on the football field?
Oh yeah, her story. She's always there, no matter where on earth it'll be. So she'll definitely be there in the stands again. She's my support system, my why. So every time I know she's putting in the effort to come out and see me, I want to make sure I make her proud by getting a W, even in the cold weather. So I'm excited.
Jalen, you guys are perfect on the road this year. How have you been able to pull it off, and how much pride do you guys take in sort of being that road warrior mentality with another big road game, obviously?
Understand that this team is all we got and is all that we need. When we go into another person's place, it's all about us locking arms and knowing that just trust our training, trust everything that we've done up to that point, and then go out and execute the game plan that we have on both offense and defense. And I think we kept that mentality all the way through the season, and we kept it perfect throughout the road wins that we had. So we're just trying to continue to keep that going and do the same, have the same outtake on this game. You know, we know what is at stake. We know exactly who we're going up against. It's a great team. It's going to be a great battle, a great war. And, you know, if we execute and we do our things, you know, I don't see why we can't come out on top.
After the San Jose State game that you guys won, you know, we could hear the locker room and everything. Is it, for all you guys, are some road wins just like more satisfying to go into another team's building and win on the road?
I would say it's definitely satisfying, you know, because our mission always, like Hodge always says to us, go 1-0. So that's our most important thing is us going 1-0 that week. So if we win that week, that's the most important thing to us. Then it's on to the next thing. So right now it's the same mentality. This is our chance to go 1-0 this week, and this is what we're focused on. So just trying to keep that same mentality, you know, no matter what the stakes are, no matter what the game is, you know, just keep the same outtake and keep the tunnel vision on what the goal is.
Yeah. Can I say it better myself?
Excuse me. Go ahead.
You're all good. Disagreeing.
Jalen, is there a checklist for Genty? Because last time it took him 33, 34 carries, whatever it was, to get like his 100 against you guys. He didn't really have a long run. So is there a checklist in your mind on how to contain him?
We know that they're going to give him the ball and that he's going to go and get his. You know, it's not exactly trying to figure out how to stop him. It's about how can we contain him and make him use him how they don't want him to. You know, make him use somebody else. I mean, we know that he's a great player. I mean, arguably the best player in the country, you know. So, I mean, we just have to go in and understand that we have to trust what Coach has planned for us to able to contain him and make them use their other people that they have out there and just go out there and execute and win our one-on-ones. That's the main thing about football. It's about you're Jimmy better than our Joe, you know, and who's going to make the play when the ball's in the air, when the ball's in the hole, and who's going to come out on top. That's what it's all about.
Jalen, do you recall what it was like tackling him? Was it difficult?
I mean, it was definitely something that, you know, knew it was going to be a challenge, but it's something you just got your mind ready. You know, when you go in there, you can't be, you know, fear none. You know, that's my goal when I go in. I don't fear nobody. You know, at the end of the day, you got to go and show me at the end of the day. You know, I know, like I said, again, I know he's capable of what he's capable of. You know, he's had so many yards rushing and all that, but at the end of the day, we all put our pants on the exact same way. So when it all comes down to it, I know he's going to be ready. I know I'm going to be ready. So just as anybody else on the defense when it goes down to challenge him. So we just got to go out there, buckle our chin strap, and be ready to go when it's time to go out there.
You've had a monster hit in just about every game, and a lot of times it's kind of with the shoulder, make sure you're not getting the head. With Genty, do you do shoulder and body, or you're like, hey, this guy's next level?
I think it all comes down to the technique that our coach goes in. You know, you can body him, you can try to shoulder him. I mean, he's a big, swoller, you know, stockier type guy. So I think it's all about the mentality at the end of the day that you go in with, more than just the way you go in as far as the technique. You know, of course, you want to try to keep your head out of it and, you know, go safe with your tackles. But at the end of the day, I think it's more of a mentality thing. You know, who wants it more?
Hodge, in your eyes, what's going to be the biggest offensive adjustment for you guys from the previous matchup against Boise State till this weekend?
Don't turn the ball over. You know, I feel like that pick going into late in the second quarter was a big momentum shift. You know, gave them an extra possession, and we ended up losing the game by a one-possession game. So that's just how vital the ball is. So protecting the ball is the number one on the list, as always, along with communication. So as long as we execute at a high level, you know what I mean, everything else will follow suit.
Protecting the ball has really been a focal point of this team, really limiting those turnovers in every game. What goes into that? Is that decision making? Is that game planning? Is that just the luck of the draw sometimes?
It's not luck. It's all those things that it's work. You know, being on the same page, understanding where guys are, execution, film, just being on one accord. And at the end of the day, when you're in an away game, all those things are vital because the ball is so important. Every possession, every play is so important in a big game. So at the end of the day, we have to make sure we protect the ball and put it in the end zone.
Jack, we just heard Hodge mention being on the same page. We've heard you say how important communication is. I guess having experienced like multiple quarterbacks, what does Hodge bring in the communication area, or just like another intangible that's really helped you guys have an edge this season?
Well, I think Hodge knows me well enough to know that I'm not just saying this because he's here. But, yeah, he's by far the best communicator I've had. You know, going through spring ball with them, it was a big change in a good way as far as responsibility, I guess. You know, there's certain calls that, you know, centers are responsible for. It's also good to have the guy behind you be on the same page and, you know, at the end of the day, if he wants me to do something, I'm going to do it, and I can trust him that he's going to adjust. So that's a huge thing for me. Yeah, like you said, just communication has been great, and also just the leadership aspect as well. Because at the end of the day, you know, the quarterback is only one position, but he really acts as, you know, the leader and the motor to get other guys going, and he does a great job of that.
Anything else? Thanks, everybody.
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.